With you here for the next hour as we get you closer to tip-off and fans starting to file into Thrive City and getting ready to head on into Chase Center for round one, game 4. It's the Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. Kings leading this best-of-7 series 2-1, and I am coming to you live from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City here for the next hour as they have just opened the doors and people are flooding in to get themselves a brew here leading up to game 4 of this playoff series, which has been a battle of the two Northern California rivals between now and noon. Before we hand it off to Tim and Tom, we're going to get you the injury report, your Warriors game plan, keys to the game, eye on the stats, and also the taking it to the bank prediction as the Warriors try and even this thing at 2 games apiece, and the Kings trying to take the commanding 3-1 lead back to Sacramento, where they played so well and so competitively in the first couple of games of this series, really making it an extension of all the things they've done well in this sort of storybook season and resurgent season for them, and making the first 2 games played in Sacramento an extension of the Warriors season to this point on the road, where Golden State struggled so mightily with just the 11 wins away from home. But none of that matters unless the Warriors can get today and even things up and put a little bit of pressure on those Sacramento Kings, who have been able to play free and easy for the most part. Adjustments, the order of the day and the order of any playoff series. And I think it's going to be fascinating with the Warriors finally getting on the board in this series on Thursday night to see what adjustments are made from the Warriors side coming off a win, because the win that they earned was without a couple of their key rotation players and who looked to be a couple of their most trustable players in the first 2 games of the series. No Draymond Green due to the suspension and the incident at the end of game 2 with the stomp on Domantas Sabonis, and no Gary Payton II, who had been ill. Both of those guys are ready to roll and going to be available to play for the Warriors. So a key question for the Warriors, and we're going to dive into all of it here over the course of the next hour, is how do they maintain the things that they did successfully in game 3, and how do they do it while also reintegrating Draymond Green and Gary Payton II back into the fold? On the Sacramento side of things, it's just as fascinating because the Kings, for whatever reason, call it being in the playoffs for the first time in 17 years and having a new core that's going through everything for the first time. They've appeared to be a little nervous, at least shooting the basketball in each of the first 3 games of this series. Warriors able to take more of an advantage of that in game 3. They really couldn't do it much in game 1 and game 2, although they did have the 6-point lead into the first quarter there. But do the Kings wind up making a lineup change themselves with Keegan Murray, who has struggled so mightily for them, the rookie, really unable to knock down shots? I think he's played a little soft and tentatively to this point, but he's an excellent shooter and somebody who would figure to be calm enough to play well in a playoff series. Does Mike Brown go away from him in favor of maybe a Davion Mitchell, who can put a little bit more ball pressure more consistently on Steph Curry? He was trying to get Keegan Murray in garbage time the other night to maybe get his confidence going after the Warriors had salted that game away. And so will there be a lineup change there? And how will Steve Kerr manage Steph Curry's minutes among the many things to watch here as we kind of set the table for game 4? I thought one of the subtle keys and changes for the Warriors in game 3 was Steve Kerr choosing to match minutes essentially with Steph Curry and De'Aaron Fox. Not that Curry's the guy that's going to be trying to guard De'Aaron Fox, but the Kings in this series have made hay against the Warriors when Fox has been on the court and Curry has not been on the court, with their natural rotations not matching and basically giving the Kings 3-4 minutes in each game and sometimes 3-4 minutes in each half where Fox is able to do his thing without Curry being on the floor to allow the Warriors to maintain it. Well, Steve Kerr flipped the spread on that a little bit. He subbed Curry out when Fox went out, didn't give the Kings an opportunity, almost a free 3-4 minutes to let Mitchell hound Stephen Curry, and then assured that if he wanted to, if the game was close or close enough, he could always have Curry on the floor when Fox was on the floor. I think it threw Mike Brown a little bit for a loop. Mike liking to play his regulars as often as possible, and that 8-man rotation with the fewest injuries in the NBA this year. That a big part of the Sacramento Kings' secret to success. So adjustments always the order of the day in any playoff series. Again, John Dickinson here at Harmonic Brewing, Thrive City. Beautiful Sunday morning and on into the afternoon. Stop by and say hi here for the next hour as the Warriors and Kings set to go at 12:30. I'm having a Kolsch. For those of you on the YouTube and Twitch stream, cheers to you here at 11:06. I'm going to take a sip. My guy Craig Valentino back in the studio. Sorry, brother. I know this has to hurt watching your pal. I'll take a little sip here, but I'm going to just Craig, crack that mic for a minute if you can, just while I take a little sip here of the Kolsch here on.
Well,
Harmonic.
if you are watching on Twitch or YouTube, you know that you definitely want to get down there at Harmonic Brew because that is the spot to be. I mean, if anywhere tailgating with JD, I'm stuck here in the studio. But at least I can live vicariously through your sips. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man, and I'm out on the Bayside patio, so you got Chase right in front of you, and then to the back you've got just all of the splendor of a beautiful, just picturesque San Francisco Bay Area day going on here with the Bay right behind me. They've got a new Skydog IPA, so also pork soft tacos among the specials here at Harmonic.
You got me at tacos. There you go.
Yeah, I may have to get some delivery. I may have to send some tacos and order a tacos back for the guys in the studio that are doing just yeoman's work here throughout the playoffs and all season long. All right. We'll come back, but I want to give everybody an opportunity now to hear an interview as we set the table from Chase and Harmonic and Thrive City. Moses Moody, been a key figure for the Warriors in Game 2 and Game 3, played well in both of those games. Somebody, I think, who's played his way into the rotation, at least for the time being, in this series. He had a chance to sit down with Willard and Dibbs on Friday, and so I want to rack that conversation for you right here. We'll come back, and we'll continue to get you set up for tip-off in the biggest game of the season, at least until the next one, Warriors and Kings Game 4. But here's Moses Moody with Willard and Dibbs.
Joining us live after the big victory last night and his great contributions off of the bench is none other than Moses Moody. Moses, thank you so much for coming on today. Congrats on the performance last night, man.
Thank you. No problem. Thanks. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, great to talk to you. So I'd love to hear you sort of build on some of the things that you said last night. I thought you certainly insinuated this idea of in the playoffs, you get better. You're kind of built for this. Would you agree with that statement? And how did you sort of foster that characteristic?
Yeah, like I said yesterday, just saying, being in those winning environments, always fighting to win, never really playing on bad teams that are just trying to go out there and get the game over with, any of that. So it's the environment that I'm used to. This is the environment that I like to be in, play in.
How difficult is it being in the environment that you're not used to, which is not playing a lot and then being asked to come in and play? How do you keep yourself sharp and keep your mind ready for that time when you are going to be asked to play more than you normally do?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I've always played those minutes. So when I get in, it's just getting back to that rhythm, being comfortable. It is a different situation, obviously, not playing as much as I'm used to and all that. But I mean, just like anything else in life, you got to deal with it and keep it pushing.
Moses, I wonder how you would describe this to fans. We hear it a lot. When you play well, we hear people say, yeah, see, now why didn't they play him more this year? But it also feels like recently you addressed the need for you to be learning at the NBA level. How would you describe your playing time journey this year?
It's been just that. It's been a journey, with highs and lows, different factors. But I mean, just like any other journey, it's all about what you learn from it. So there's been plenty of things that I've taken from self-evaluation, from evaluating the league, the team, and just a lot of thought. And I feel like all that went into preparing me for now.
What was the mood like pregame yesterday when you heard, obviously, that Draymond Green had been suspended and then late word that GP2 wasn't going to play because of an illness? What was the mood like in the locker room ahead of Game 3 yesterday?
Yes, so Draymond came in and gave a pretty inspirational talk, just letting everybody know that we got to step up. We got to take on our role and his role, and then the GP thing was so last minute too. So, but that's what I always say. That's the playoffs. That's what it's all about, and that's why it's so crazy to actually win a championship, because it's not always about who's the best team. It's who's the healthiest team, who's the luckiest team to a certain extent. There's so many factors that go into it.
Moses, you mentioned an inspirational speech from Draymond. What are some of the things he said that really got to you guys?
Yeah, it was really that. He called out guys by name, saying, we gonna need you to step up this game. We gonna need more from you than we usually get. We gonna everybody. So when he gets personal like that in those conversations, and the way that he took over the conversation and addressing the elephant in the room, that he got suspended and he won't be playing and all, and it's still a must-win game, and nobody cares why we lost. If we lost, it's all about winning. So that was the main gist of it, just winning a must-win game.
How do you as a teammate get past what we all saw where Sabonis grabs him, he steps on him, and Draymond gets the heavier suspension? Is there a collection where you all get together and realize that you have to get past it, or does it take Draymond to really, as you said, put the elephant in the room to help allow you guys to all get past that?
I mean, he doesn't. It doesn't really take for him to come in and address it or anything to get past it, because I mean it happened, and now what we gonna do next? We got to win the next game, regardless if he's suspended, if he's not suspended, if he should have did it, if he shouldn't have did it. None of that really matters when it comes down to winning time.
Moses Moody is with us on Willard and Dibs 95.7 The Game. Moses, Draymond and GP2 will be back on Sunday. Has the staff shared anything with you about what your role will be then?
No, they haven't. But, just like all year, never knowing the circumstances, but just being ready for whatever.
Confidence-wise, Moses, it seems to Mark and I like you play like a 27 or a 28-year-old, and yet I was telling Mark earlier, you're younger than my oldest son. You'd be my middle child, Moses, if you were
That's
if
awkward.
you were Moses Dibley. No, but it speaks to just how young you are. Where does all this confidence come from? Because you're just 20, Moses.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing basketball for, I'm so young. I'm just 20. I've been playing ball for about 17 years now. So, different stages, different environments, but it's all still the same.
You know what, though, Moses? I mean, we talk about your confident look, and I wonder if this year it really was that the entire time. Like, have you been feeling at your most confident all year? You mentioned self-evaluation earlier this year. When you evaluated self, what did you find?
It was different. It was different things, and there were certain times in the year where like my rhythm was off, and my shot wasn't feeling as good. My handle, driving to the basket, stuff wasn't feeling as good. And you could say that probably comes from not playing, but it was a factor at some point. So just fighting through that and figuring that out. That was a big thing for me, because once I did, I started seeing some success. But yeah, the situation is what it is. All you can do is react to it.
Yeah, and you reacted quite well last night, 13 points in 16 minutes. How challenging is it for not only yourself, but for everybody on the Golden State Warriors to deal with a guy like De'Aaron Fox, who appears to be moving faster than just about anybody in humanity? He's like the Flash out there.
Yeah, he is pretty fast going downhill, but there's ways to contain that because, when you're going 100% downhill fast, you can't really pull up for a shot, so I might play you off a little bit and different things like that. So there's definitely still ways to contain it. He's obviously a really good player. He's going to score some points, but we can limit him.
Moses, I feel like on Sunday, this will be the second time in the last week and a half that you guys have had to inject one of your major players back into the lineup after things were already going well. Andrew Wiggins at the start of the playoffs, Draymond Green coming off of your best performance in the playoffs. What challenges are associated with that?
It's obviously always going to be a little different when the rotations change and all of that, but, they've been changing all year, like you just stated. Steph coming in and out, Wiggs, Andre. So just keep doing what we've been doing, and it's been some pretty smooth transitions in the past.
One guy who has not been out, he's been all in and no out, Kevon Looney, 20 rebounds last night. Do you get a chance to just sit back and marvel at what Kevon Looney's able to do on the glass night in and night out?
Yeah. After the game, for sure. I see him working on it in practice. Not too many guys will sit up and do an offensive rebounding drill. But, the fact that he does and it shows off and it pays off for him is really good. It's obviously impressive that he can go out there, even against taller guys, bigger guys, he's still going to come up with that ball. So it's definitely impressive.
Moses, I wonder what you really think now is the theme going forward for this series. Everyone talked about turnovers and rebounding. You guys did great with both of those last night, but I'm sure Sacramento was going to have a counterpunch. What's the focus? What's the message from the staff right now?
I would say the new focus is winning by any means necessary. So whatever that means, if it's not turning the ball over, if it's rebounding, if it's getting 50-50 balls, the focus is winning.
It's a weird question, but it's something that the fans obviously latched on to when E40 got kicked out of game one in Sacramento. Is that something that you guys talk about in terms of maybe second tier or third tier reasons why you want to get motivated, like the E40 factor?
Obviously a big fan of E40. He's the Bay Area, and he shows so much support to the team. So we definitely support him. But we don't really need too much extra motivation to want to win this playoff series. But that was a crazy situation. I don't necessarily know the details of it, but yeah.
Moses, I know we're only 3 games into this one. But so far, how would you compare your experience in the playoffs last year to this one?
Last year was a journey. It was a lot of highs, a lot of lows. But last year was my first time, so I didn't necessarily know what to expect. I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to a certain extent. And everything was a new experience, whether it was my first time in the first round, my first time in the second round, first time in the championship. So everything was new, but now I've seen it, and I kind of know what to expect.
Speaking of bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, Sunday 12:30 tip, you probably got to get ready to get to bed here pretty soon. That thing comes up here in about 40 hours. What do you do differently for a game that tips at 12:30 in terms of your game day preparation?
Yeah, go to bed a little bit earlier, get my yoga session in a little bit earlier. Make sure I eat, but it's the same routine, just sped up a little bit.
What yoga do you do? Do you go hot house yoga? Do you do self-guided yoga? What's your yoga, Moses?
Me and Loon, we do yoga with a J, so it's more focused on activation than necessarily stretching.
Yeah, when you
It's
said
kind of like yogging.
Well, yeah, when you said yoga, I was like, man,
what?
he just pronounces yoga kind of differently. But that's a thing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was maybe yoga with frozen yogurt after.
See, and Dibs locked in on the yoga. I locked in on you saying that you got to eat. What are you going to eat? What's a pregame meal for you?
Honestly, I should probably get more of a routine with it, but on for the later game, I'm gonna go to the gym and eat what they got there. So it's usually like some baked chicken. I might have some salad, salmon, something like that. But on the morning game, I guess since we got an early game, I won't eat my normal pancakes, but I'll probably go with a breakfast burrito.
Oh, you're a man after our heart,
gosh.
Moses.
Oh, my gosh.
What's in the breakfast burrito would be the follow-up question.
It's gonna be some turkey sausage, tomato, cheese, obviously egg, and spinach.
Spinach.
No potatoes, though. I like that.
I do like potatoes in there sometimes.
Okay.
I might do that tomorrow.
Moses,
Appreciate it.
Great.
Moses, is Looney your guy? And I don't mean to like make you pick a favorite, but like, right, like you mentioned him, you guys do yoga together. We're all now learning what that is. Is that like, you know what I mean? Who do you ride with to do whatever your off-court activities are?
It kind of depends on what the activity is. I got a good relationship with a lot of guys on the team. Tune is definitely my guy though. We chop it up all the time, talk about all type of stuff. He always willing to dish out game. But yeah, he's definitely my dog.
I know that a lot of the assistant coaches are assigned to specific players in terms of like working on their game. Who do you work with the most, and what kind of insight can you give us on maybe some of the assistant coaches on the staff?
Yeah, I work with Jamma the most. Yeah, we do a lot of situations that we feel like I'll be in the game, like some of those backdoor cuts or corner shots and offensive rebounding, even post work, whatever the game seems like it's gonna ask me to do. But other guys in there, AD, CD, Lid, Q, y'all know the coaches.
Of course.
Yep. Moses Moody is with us. Moses, a lot is being made of the crowds in this series, and I've actually, we're wanting Warrior fans. I know you guys are too, to not only be there on time for the 12:30 tip, but to be as loud as possible. The comparison is a little different because in Sacramento, these fans haven't been to a playoff game in 17 years. Warrior fans are used to going to this every year. So, A, what kind of factor is that? And then B, how would you compare last year's Boston crowds to this year's Sacramento crowds as far as a road team?
Yeah, this Sacramento crowd they're really loud. And I feel like that's the biggest thing with them, like how loud they are. I'm not necessarily too locked into the fans to really like look people in the eye and know what type of energy they own. But I feel like that Boston crowd was more hostile, like to where you're hearing people talking over there on the bench by the bench where we at and all that. But Sacramento is definitely louder.
Moses, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Great job last night, and continued success, my man.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, Moses Moody with Willard and Dibbs from Friday here on 95.7 The Game, and I'm with Moses Moody. The Boston crowd had a little different energy maybe in some of the things that were being said, and I can attest to that from being in the building. And, of course, everybody can attest to that, including Draymond Green and some of the chants that were going on in Boston going back to the finals, and the Warriors having to overcome that. But the Sac crowd has been every bit as legit of a playoff crowd as the Warriors have faced on the road in this last decade of the dynasty. And so that is going to be something that the Warriors are going to have to absolutely deal with in Game 5. But first and foremost, it's get this thing tied at 2 games apiece and get it back to Sacramento, where the Kings aren't necessarily playing with house money. It's 2-2, and maybe they're feeling a little bit of the heat for the first time in this series. All right, great stuff there for Moses Moody and Willard and Dibbs. Back here at Harmonic Brewing inside Thrive City, there is hardly a table to be found as people filing in here, getting ready for the Warriors and the Kings in Game 4, Round 1. Stop by, say hi. I'm going to be out here until noon. Get yourself a Skydog IPA. I'm enjoying a Kolsch. Get some pork soft tacos before you head in to Chase and cheer on the Warriors here as Game 4 is just about an hour and 15 minutes away from tip-off here. So we'll come back, and we'll get you the injury report. We'll get you the Warriors game plan. We'll get you keys to the game, eye on the stats, and your take it to the bank prediction. As it's all straight ahead, Warriors Live. We're rolling on right here on 95.7 The Game.
U.S. Bank is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with retail banking in California by J.D. Power. Since California is home to most award shows, we've prepared a thank you speech.
To Californians everywhere, we've been proud to help you plan, budget, and save smarter. Our goal tracking and budgeting tools would have no place to shine if it weren't for you, and we can't thank you enough for that. And thank you to our real-life humans who go above and beyond for our customers every day.
Bravo, U.S. Bank!
Bravo!
For JD Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Member FDIC.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you. And now they have an app delivering a mechanic to your door, just like a restaurant delivery app. Kirby does it all with brake and tire replacements, oil changes, washes, and more. Kirby is the ultimate convenience with easy booking, transparent pricing, on-time arrival, service in your driveway. Get $50 off your first oil change with the code OIL50. That's OIL50. Check out Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com.
If you're looking for patio perfection, it's a perfect time to swing by Outdoor Supply Hardware. Whether you're after fun furniture, live goods and greenery, or grilling tools to spice up your dining, your friends at Osh have you covered. Right now, you'll find all the essentials, including outdoor dining sets and chat sets, big green egg grilling kits, new Greenworks mowers, feed, seed, and fertilizers from Scott's, and so much more. Make it a sensational season and optimize your outdoor space with a little help from Osh.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
The playoffs are here and sports fans are laser focused. The Goodman Eye Center wants you to do the same with your eyes. We offer many options to fit your needs and correct your vision. So whether you're nearsighted, farsighted, or have astigmatism, the Goodman Eye Center can provide independence from glasses and contact lenses. When it comes to your vision, be sure to go with a winning team. Go with Dr. Daniel Goodman and his team at the Goodman Eye Center, the choice of champions. Schedule a free consultation today at GoodmanEyeCenter.com. That's GoodmanEyeCenter.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Now it's time to guess who the closer of the week is. Presented by LiftMaster and RNS Doors. Turn your garage into the envy of the neighborhood. Visit rsdoors.com.
Who is the closer of the week? How about a guy who had 4 and 20 on 420? And by 4 and 20, I mean 4 points and 20 rebounds. Recently, my garage door opener was not working. I was in need of a closer. I was put in touch with RNS Doors, and they hooked me up with a brand new garage door opener from LiftMaster. With LiftMaster's MyQ connectivity, my garage door opener can be controlled right from my smartphone. You'll know when a door or gate has been left open and can close it with a tap, no matter where I am. Be one of the first 10 callers and receive 20% off a LiftMaster garage door opener.
Call 1-800-FIX-A-DOOR. That's 800-FIX-A-DOOR. Or visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
Who doesn't love shopping for a new car? It's so much fun. But shopping for financing, nobody likes to do. Luckily, First NorCal Credit Union can help. With rates, they've got low rates, 3.99% APR. And you could save big by skipping that dealer financing and apply the manufacturer rebate to your down payment. Visit firstnorcalcu.org to learn more. Must qualify for membership. Rates subject to change without notice. Loan subject to credit approval. 3.99 annual percentage rate based on 36-month term and 780 FICO score. 29.52 per $1,000 borrowed.
Now, back to Warriors Live. Presented by Xfinity. Supercharge your home with supersonic Wi-Fi. Unbeatable internet. Only from Xfinity. On 95.7 The Game.
All right, rolling on from Chase Center. John Dickinson, at Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City, brought to you by the Next Generation 10G Network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Warriors and the Sacramento Kings set to go at it just about an hour and 10 minutes away from tip-off here on 95.7 The Game. It's Game 4, Round 1, and let's just dive right into it here. Before we get to the injury report, we do have some breaking news, and Steve Kerr, Mike Brown, both meeting with the media here within the last half hour to 45 minutes. And according to Shams Charania of The Athletic and Anthony Slater, the Warriors are going to bring Draymond Green off the bench today in his return from suspension in Game 4. The Warriors are going to keep it rolling with the secondary ball handler and roll with Jordan Poole along with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevon Looney, and, of course, Andrew Wiggins, as this is something we talked about a lot over the last couple of days, and whether or not Draymond would go in and volunteer or offer to come off the bench. Not sure how all of that calculus was dissected and adjusted, but Draymond coming off the bench is something that I do think was a card that the Warriors had in their back pocket to be able to play. And so the fans are filing in. People are – if there's a smattering of Kings fans out here, we got a guy trying to get people riled up, doing the Warriors chant. Yeah, people are fired up. It's a good time out here at Harmonic Brewing between now and noon. But, yeah, the breaking news – Draymond Green going to come off the bench. So Jordan Poole set to start along with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Kevon Looney. And, of course, what a job Kevon Looney has done against Domantas Sabonis, who started to look a little bit funny in the light with all eyes on him and some of the antics and the ability to impose his physicality in the first couple of games of the series and also frustrate the Warriors, even though at times he didn't exactly play all that well. So, John Dickinson here at Harmonic Brewing, Thrive City. Let's get to that injury report brought to you by Boxer & Gerson. Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. For more info, visit boxerlaw.com. And the injury report for this one, good news all across the board, as the Warriors are going to get Gary Payton II back. He is available to play after missing Thursday night's Game 3 due to illness. He missed Wednesday's practice in the lead-up to Game 3 as well, but Gary was back at practice yesterday and available to play for the Warriors in this game number 4 for Golden State. And the Warriors also getting Draymond Green back in the fold coming off of that league suspension. But the breaking news there, of course, is that Draymond's going to come off the bench in this game, with the Warriors continuing to start Jordan Poole. Nothing of note other than those two as far as the injury report goes. On the Sacramento side of things, Matthew Dellavedova, broken hand. The Warriors did reevaluate Andre Iguodala, but he's still weeks away from being weeks away. The Warriors would probably have to not only come back and win this series, but advance in the second-round series to get to a conference finals before Iguodala would be officially back on the table as somebody who could potentially help them in a conference finals and or NBA finals series. So that way too far down the line, but he was reevaluated, could start doing basketball activities here within the next 10 days to 2 weeks. But again, the basketball activities would probably keep him out at least for a second round series, which of course is no longer a guarantee for the Warriors. They got to make sure they win today and try to get, of course, 3 of what would be these next 4 games head-to-head against Sacramento. So that, your injury report, brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. More info, visit boxerlaw.com. Before we pause here again from Harmonic Brewing, let's get your Warriors game plan, brought to you by U.S. Bank. And we've already seen a little bit of what the Warriors game plan is going to be. Key question coming in, would the Warriors have the guts to bring Draymond Green off the bench? And the Warriors, in fact, are going to bring Draymond Green off the bench. Game plan including an extra ball handler. Jordan Poole's got to play, and even though he didn't shoot the ball well, he was far more effective having the ball in his hands and taking the ball out of Steph Curry's hands a little bit on the offensive side of things. He plays better when he plays more. It freed him up to get those minutes. It also allowed for Dante DiVincenzo to be the lead guard off the bench and for him to play more minutes in that game as a ball handler. And DiVincenzo's hustle, DiVincenzo's ability to take some heat off of Steph Curry and the load that comes with bringing the ball up the floor and all of the hounding that the Sacramento defense has tried to put on Curry, that has been something that's been impressive to this point. So one move allows maybe the best version of Looney and Draymond together. It allows for Jordan Poole to be more effective, and it allows for Dante DiVincenzo to play more minutes. I would expect Moses Moody to continue to be in the Warriors rotation along with Gary Payton II, with DiVincenzo off the bench as well, and then we'll see how the Warriors wind up rolling from that point on. But one of the key questions as far as the Warriors' game plan is now known with Shams Charania of The Athletic, along with Anthony Slater reporting Draymond will come off the bench, and then more Kevon Looney, basically in a weird way killing Sabonis with kindness, right? Just keeping his mouth shut, playing his game, standing him up. The Warriors' Darren Sabonis, who's looked a little uncomfortable to shoot from the outside, but trying to prevent some of the dribble handoff game and the passing game that's so critical to this high-powered and potent Sacramento Kings offense. So that, your Warriors game plan, brought to you by U.S. Bank as we continue here from Harmonic Brewing outside Thrive Center. This place is jamming, people having a good time, having a few brews, grabbing some grub before heading into Chase Center here with just about an hour to go before tip-off. All right, we'll pause here. We'll come back, and we will continue the conversation. Keys to the game, eye on the stats, taking it to the bank prediction as Warriors Live. We move forward here from Thrive City with John Dickinson on 95.7 The Game.
Since first opening its doors in 1964, Fremont Bank has approached banking with a simple idea in mind. Growth comes one customer at a time.
Warriors trying to even things up. Kings trying to take the 3-1 lead back to Sacramento, where there is going to be a hell of a wait between Game 4 and Game 5. Game 5 set to be played at 7 o'clock in Sacramento on Wednesday. So regardless of what happens, and can you imagine the Warriors get this one this afternoon and the 76-hour pregame, basically, with the series tied leading toward game number 5 with 3 full days plus a little bit. And then it's going to come rapid fire after that, though. Wednesday, Friday, potentially Sunday, and even Sunday maybe back in this same 12:30 time slot if the series ends up going the distance. Warriors, though, still with work to do to get this thing evened up at 2 games apiece. I am coming to you from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City out here on the Bayside patio overlooking the bay, and a lot of Warrior fans just filing in here. Great atmosphere, people enjoying their beers. I'm having a Kolsch. Cheers to those who are watching here on YouTube and Twitch on 95.7 The Game. I'm sending my guy Craig Valentino some pork tacos. If you're more of an IPA guy, check out their new Skydog IPA and enjoy. Get yourself nice and ready here before the Warriors and Kings go at it. And there's a couple Kings fans on hand here. I'm just kind of looking around to there's a table to my left where you've got the one straggler Kings fan that came to the game, it looked like, with 3 friends that are all Warriors fans. You got one guy who looks like he's maybe the boyfriend of a young lady who is at the game with a couple other friends, and somebody's parents are also involved there. So he's kind of the straggler. Then there's a couple, straight ahead, maybe 30 feet, maybe a Steph Curry 3 ahead of me as you head toward the patio on into the entrance. And I think you've got the one guy that's kind of wearing a little purple, but nothing Sacramento specific. Like they're around, but trying not to let everybody know they're around. And then everybody else is town jerseys and city jerseys and an old school Baron Davis jersey. I'm looking at the San Francisco Steph Curry jersey, and Warrior fans just having a good time getting themselves ready to roll here for game number 4. All right, let's get into our keys to the game, as always. Keys to the game brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union. First NorCal has it all. Low auto loan rates, a super easy online application, and friendly, helpful agents. They can get you a low rate and help you save big by skipping the dealer financing and applying any dealer rebates to your own payment. Visit firstnorcalcu.org. Keys to the game for the Warriors. Well, we've already laid out one of them. It was who's going to start, and the Warriors are going to keep Jordan Poole in the starting lineup. Draymond Green comes off the bench. I was a little surprised off of Game 3 and the couple of days in the lead up to Game 4 at how many Warrior fans were expressing their concern at the fact that the Warriors were able to be much more fluid offensively and much more patient offensively with Draymond Green not in the lineup and Kevon Looney taking on a bigger role in that game on Thursday night that helped the Warriors get back into this series. And I took call after call on Warriors Wrap-Up, full phone lines for 2 hours. And by the way, we're going to be doing Warriors Wrap-Up again out here on the patio at Harmonic Brewing. So stop by after the ball game and say hi and have a brew. And we're going to keep this thing going as long as the callers and the people want to do it. But I was surprised. I thought people were making way too big a deal of the Draymond thing. Warriors surviving in Game 3 without him. Others stepped up in a big-time way. Looney, Curry, Wiggins, DiVincenzo, Moody, even Kuminga able to play better as a front runner in a short stint. But for me, there's no way to live that way for the Warriors without having Draymond for the rest of this series and GP too. So the Warriors, though, that being said, are going to treat this, I think, a little bit more as a kitchen sink game, and I think the start of that is separating Looney and Draymond. And if you were going to separate Looney and Draymond, there's no way in hell you were going to have Kevon Looney be the guy that came off the bench with the job that he did in Game 3 and the job that he did against Sabonis and just the patience and the calm that he was able to put out there on the floor. Again, steady beats Sacramento. The Kings need their opponent to be a little frenetic. Appreciate you. What's going on, brother? Yeah, absolutely. Fired up. Saying hi here behind me on the patio. Frenetic doesn't beat Sacramento. Calm beats Sacramento. I think that's why Moses Moody's played so well in this series. I think that's why Looney had the impact that he's had in this series. I think that's why Stephen Curry off the ball a little bit more has had a positive impact, at least in Game 3. He played much calmer. Even Klay Thompson, who I think to this point has for the most part had a bad series, he's been much more calm and a little less angry in the last couple of games and not so shot hunty in the last couple of games, even though he has had an inability to make shots consistently. Jordan Poole, kind of similar. Like, he didn't shoot it great, but he had a positive impact because he was more steady, and I thought Steph Curry set that tone in Game 1 of the series. And so we'll see. I thought the Warriors would be comfortable starting both Draymond Green and Kevon Looney and separating them, but the easiest way to do it is to separate them at the jump. And so Draymond might have to play a little less. Peyton might have to play a little less. Allow DiVincenzo to play more, but the Warriors are jumping off and allowing multiple ball handlers on the floor with Curry. We'll see. That helped Golden State in Game 1, but this is also a series about adjustments. Will Mike Brown make an adjustment involving Davion Mitchell maybe being in the starting lineup, which would prevent what Steve Kerr did in Game 2, or Game 3 rather, which was separating some of the Davion just being able to hound Steph Curry minutes. And so it's interesting. Kitchen sink game more for the Warriors. Warriors also have to continue to do what they were able to do in Game 3 to win this game this afternoon, which is limit those turnovers, get to the free throw line. How about the free throws being even in game number 3? 18 of 23 for the Warriors, 16 of 23 for Sacramento. Both teams going to the line 23 times. I thought the officials let both teams play and let the Warriors play a little more physically without some of the cheapy fouls that were there in the first couple of games of the series. The aggressor gets the whistle. Kings were the aggressor in those first 2 games. Warriors were more the aggressor, led by Looney in Game 3, and they got the benefit of the doubt in Game 3. We'll see if the Warriors can make that happen again in Game 4, but the Warriors are going to have to be calm and steady when they've been able to get into their offense and run their offense. Even though they haven't made shots, they've been the better team in those junctures of this series, where the Kings have been the better team of the close games. If you can get it to a close game with 5-6 minutes to go, and also those moments where Fox is on the court and Curry isn't, and I think with this starting lineup and a similar rotation to the one the Warriors were able to deploy in Game 3, they're trying to limit, the Warriors are, those moments where Fox is on the court and going into takeover mode and Curry isn't on the court, in an attempt to steady the Warriors by allowing them to match. I think the Kings are going to try to get their pace going. They came out third quarter, really tried to ramp it up, fast-paced. Warriors had a cushion. Kings missed some shots. Warriors were able to use that against them. And then, of course, role players play better at home. Malik Monk, Trey Lyles, Davion Mitchell all stunk in Game 3 for Sacramento after playing pretty well, although Lyles didn't play as well in Game 2 as Game 1. But Mitchell and Monk specifically, but you throw Lyles in Game 3, and you look at the shooting line, 0 for 4 for Monk, 1 of 5 for Mitchell, and then Trey Lyles 0 for 4. So a 1 for 13 from 3 for 3 key players that are always going to be in the Sacramento rotation and guys that they need to make some shots. So role players better at home. Warriors got better energy from DiVincenzo and Moody and even Kuminga and JaMychal Green. And, of course, the Warriors are going to have a big trump card to play with Draymond and all his energy, taking a little bit of a back seat, but the crowd's going to be hyped for sure when Draymond comes in off the Warriors bench. So a lot of those things, your keys to the game for this one, as always, brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union here on Warriors Live on 95.7 The Game. We are brought to you by Xfinity, the next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. It's John Dickinson from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City out on the Bayside patio here for the next 10 minutes or so, getting you ready for the Warriors and the Sacramento Kings in game number 4 of this NBA playoff first-round series. Eye on the Stats, brought to you by Goodman Eye Center. When it comes to your vision, be sure to go with a winning team. Go with Dr. Daniel Goodman and his team at the Goodman Eye Center, the choice of champions. Schedule a free consultation today at GoodmanEyeCenter.com. And I just gave you some of the numbers as far as the role players playing better at home. And how about Sacramento in this series from three-point range? They are due. Now, the Warriors can make the claim that they're due for a hot percentage from three, but the Kings are due for a hot percentage game from three. Sacramento, 32 of 116 in the first three games of this series, 27.5% from three. And the Warriors did a better job in the paint in game number 2 as well. But the three-point shooting both ways hasn't really been there at a high clip. And that we make your eye on the stats for this one as the Warriors try and keep things rolling here in game number 4 of this series. And the Kings are really good. Nothing's happened yet to this point in the series. They could have a hot game in this game this afternoon, and all of a sudden they have control. So the desperation factor, I think, has to be there for the Warriors. It'll be interesting to see what the Warriors do as far as how they continue to handle Sabonis. I thought the Warriors were really going to have to score a lot more in Game 3 to be able to win. It was stunning that the Warriors were able to do what they did without their second and third best defensive players and holding the Kings to under 100, which is something that had been extremely rare in the first 3 games or 2 games of this series and the 82 games that the Kings had played to this point, as far as Sacramento and their high-octane 120 a game, points per game a night offense as well. And so we'll see if the Kings can keep that rolling here. Sacramento's looked a little bit nervous at the start of each game. Will that be something that rings true? And I've talked a lot about Sabonis looking a little funny in the light, having the target on his back with the crowd on him, and you know the Chase Center crowd's going to be on him again. He was getting away with some stuff in the first couple of games. The old sneaky aggressor, but holder, but also letting the officials know that he's the one getting hit and kind of getting away with that. I think we found in Game 3 that maybe Sabonis isn't totally going to be about that life unless he can be sneaky about it. And so we'll see. Again, terrific player. When the Kings are rolling, he's their best player, and Fox is the guy that gets them done for him down the stretch. But Sabonis, with the antics, may have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew as this series starts to head toward its midpoint and toward the back end. But it's on the Warriors to continue to, as I mentioned in the first segment of the show, try and kill him a little bit with kindness. Final couple of minutes here, Warriors Live. John Dickinson from Harmonic Brewing. Again, reminding everybody to join me after the ball game for Warriors wrap-up at 888-957-9570, giving you phone calls and text messages. Everything going to be rolling here post-game as the Warriors set to try and even up this series. All right, quickly, let's get to our Take It to the Bank prediction. Who's going to take it to the bank for the Warriors tonight? Sponsored by Fremont Bank. Full-service banking, no compromises. I'm rolling with Draymond Green. Big game from Draymond off the bench, and, of course, the reporting is that he suggested the notion of coming off the bench. As we discussed, I think Draymond can be an important factor emotionally for the Warriors and maybe a little bit of a lesser role. So Draymond, big game for him. Take it to the bank prediction. Tim and Tom, they got the call. It's coming up next from Chase right here. Talk to you after the game. Warriors and Kings, 95-7 the game.
U.S. Bank is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with retail banking in California by J.D. Power. Since California is home to most award shows, we've prepared a thank you speech.
To Californians everywhere, we've been proud to help you plan, budget, and save smarter. Our goal tracking and budgeting tools...
Bye.